So we got another episode of 5 cool mods for Fallout 4, a series you haven't been seeing a ton of on my channel over the past few weeks. With Mods Weekly, I typically cover most of the good releases, but as of late I've been doing a little bit more detail on the things I do cover and thus covering less mods in that series. So you're probably going to see some more 5 cool mods in the next few weeks. There's a lot of mods I missed over the past few weeks that I'm going to go back and cover in case you guys missed them also. And that's really what today's episode is going to be about. It's going to be some of the newer releases, but also a few releases that came out a few weeks ago that maybe you have overlooked. In addition, if you guys enjoy today's episode, you actually can leave a like and a comment down below. That really helps with YouTube's internal rating system. So if you comment something like Fallout, it'll make it so this video is promoted to more people watching other videos on YouTube, and it obviously really helps me grow as a channel and this video just get more popular. But that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I think we actually have a pretty good selection of mods for this one, and yeah, let's just jump into it. Start things off, we actually have the AE86 Seiryuu Beam Katana. Yeah, that was a mouthful. As you can see, it's going to be a new melee weapon mod for Fallout 4, adding in a new katana for your character to use. But one thing to note about this is it's actually more of a futuristic katana, as you could probably tell. There's more or less going to be a beam of energy at the end of this, depending on which color you do use, either blue, green, or red. It'll do a different on-hit effect. Actually, all of them are just going to be dealing electric damage, but as you do actually hit some of the different enemies, it will have a different color depending on which color katana you are using, which is a nice touch. I think this is actually going to be really good for some of the armors we have been getting as of late, like something of a ninja caliber or something of an assassin could be using this, and it's, you know, a katana in the traditional sense, but at the same time it actually has a nice futuristic feel to it and fits into Fallout pretty well. And if all that wasn't enough, it actually also does have a one-handed and two-handed version, as you guys are seeing me use in the background. It really is a well-polished mod. It's a little bit different than some of the other melee weapon mods, but I feel like also that makes it a little bit more relevant and probably more usable for a lot of you. This is a pretty cool one. This is going to be called Sanctuary Estates. What this is going to be is a pretty much total overhaul of Sanctuary Hills. The way you should use this though is actually on a new save or on a save where you didn't build anything at Sanctuary just yet, because it's going to replace a lot of the stuff in Sanctuary. You're going to see in the background there's a few things clipping. That's largely because I didn't have a new save with this, but it's not too bad and a lot of the interiors are okay. But this is really cool. It's going to more or less be kind of a modern estate at Sanctuary, and this thing is massive. It covers all of Sanctuary, even some of those extraneous lesser houses that were at the end and not really usable are actually now totally ripped out and rebuilt with new materials. One of the things that's really cool about this is if you're obviously going for that modern feel, a lot of these areas do have pretty open spaces, allowing you to place sim settlements interplots if you wanted to do so. It's not technically compatible with sim settlements, and I would love to see someone actually go through and place a bunch of plots down, maybe remove some objects that do conflict, but there's definitely a lot of areas where you can place down some of these plots and get good use out of it, which I really like to see. Obviously, I think a lot of people use sim settlements nowadays, and even though not every settlement mod has to take that into consideration, those that do, I think I really appreciate, and this one definitely is usable with that mod. Then we have the long-awaited post-nuclear outfit. So this is going to be one that will mesh really well with the katana I was talking about earlier. It has a pretty stealthy or badass feel behind it, and it definitely looks really good. I love that skull on the hands and on the face mask. I just think those two connect together to create a really awesome outfit. Everything is configurable. If you want your character to be not wearing a shirt in this, you can do that. Obviously, I want my character to be wearing a shirt because I like to play Fallout 4 that way, and also monetization. But even beyond that, pretty much everything you're seeing is totally customizable and modular. If you want to take off certain pieces of this, you can do so. And literally any pieces, whether that be the pants, the legs, the gloves, the hat, the face mask, etc., etc. In addition, I just think this really looks good. Personally, obviously, I'm using the most covered version, and I think it looks pretty good on a character. It feels like something that could be in Fallout 4 if you're creating an individual storyline for your playthrough. If you're going for a stealth or assassin playthrough, this could be awesome. I think it would really mesh well with some of the different themes that are in Fallout 4, and I wouldn't be shocked to find this on a character in the game. Probably a named character or a distinctive one, but it doesn't feel too out of place, and it seems like something you would see in a post-apocalyptic setting. So there's actually one that's been out for a little while, but you may have missed it. This is going to be Project Cyberdog's Rex Dogmeat Replacer, and that's another mouthful. So as you guys do know, Project Cyberdog is a mod aiming to overhaul Dogmeat with a bunch of different Cyberdog attachments or things like that. It's a full mod that will be coming out at a later time, but for the time being, one of those such attachments or configurations you can make to Dogmeat is going to be Rex from Fallout New Vegas. If you've never played Fallout New Vegas, Rex was basically a dog that you can implant a brain into, and then you could get him as a companion, and he was, you know, a dog with a brain in him, but a robot dog, not a normal dog, and that was pretty cool. So what this is going to be is just a flat out replacer for Dogmeat. After installing this mod, Dogmeat will look like Rex, or pretty close to Rex, and that's pretty much it. It's just a replacer. There's nothing otherwise changed about him. There's no quest to get this. Again, Project Cyberdog, the mod this is kind of a part of that will be coming out later, is going to have more customization options. So you could turn Dogmeat into Rex, or into a military version of Dogmeat, or a ton of other configurations also. Right now, this mod author is like, hey, a lot of people really wanted this, there's a high demand for it, so we did decide to release it as a simpler version for us, which I really like and appreciate. Then we have a mod that I think may just have earned a permanent spot in my load order, and that's going to be Femshepping's Diamond City Overhaul. Femshepping has posted a ton of content over the past few months, weeks, and years, but this one is definitely going to be one of her, I assume, or his better works. What it's going to be is another Diamond City Overhaul. I know we have tons of these at this point, but the thing about this one that I really like is it feels like it takes the original spirit of Diamond City and simply improves it, adds in a lot more detail and just a lot more accessories. Again, there's nothing totally overhauled about Diamond City with this mod, but as I walk around in the background, you could just notice that there's a lot more details. There's a lot of plants where, you know, it kind of makes sense for there to be plants, signs above a lot of the buildings, new objects placed around, just making it feel more lively and just look better. I mean, Diamond City is, of course, meant to be post-apocalyptic, because that's Fallout 4, but at the same time, when you have so many people living here, and they're living here for hundreds of years, because that's how long ago the bombs fell, it kind of makes sense that things would start growing. There'd be trees, people would start to decorate. I mean, you don't want to live in shambles all the time, right? And I feel like that's really what this mod is doing. It makes more sense in the overall theme of Fallout 4 for this city and center hub of trade, whatever you want to call it, does actually have a little bit of a build up and doesn't look completely garbage. Some of the other ones try and transform the city, adding concrete and things like that. This one's just kind of taking what you have already and adding a little bit more on top of it to make it look better, and I really like that. In addition, as you're also seeing in the background, some of the interiors are changed around to feel a little bit more lively and bright, and I really appreciate that also. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one, but to conclude things, we also do have a psych fun fact of the day. So I'm sure everyone watching actually knows what amnesia is. It's basically when you can't remember something or form new memories. You could either have anterograde amnesia, which basically means you can't form new memories, so you can remember everything in the past, but things going forward you won't be able to recall, or retrograde amnesia, which is the typical movie amnesia where you can't remember your past, but you can remember all current and, you know, recently past events. So something interesting I learned about amnesia is there's actually like specific forms of it that correspond to specific things. For example, a fairly common one is face amnesia. So you could remember everything about a person, have pretty much fine memory otherwise, but you can't remember people's faces, like to a deliberating degree. Imagine you're a professor teaching a class every day, people come to your office hours, you develop relationships and rapport with them, but when they arrive in your office each and every time, you're not going to actually remember who they are based on looking at them. They have to tell you your name, or rather their name, so you actually know who you're talking to. And this extends to a bunch of other things. That's just one of the more common examples, but I just thought that was crazy. I mean, there's people that obviously live very normal lives with this, but you just don't recognize anyone any of the time, which is kind of scary. Yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. As always, again, I thank you guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time.